The great hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Paul Bennett finished speaking. Sweat rolled down his back under the formal Earth uniform. Hundreds of alien eyes watched him from all sides of the circular chamber. "We have seen too much death on our world," Bennett said, his voice firm despite his nerves. "Earth has fought wars that killed millions. We learned that fighting brings only pain. Humanity wants peace and trade with all species in the galaxy." For 3 long seconds, no one spoke. Then a strange clicking sound came from Zax Turl, the bug-like Phyrexian delegate. His translator box converted the clicks to a human laugh. More aliens joined in the laughter. Some hooted, others hissed or rumbled. The sound bounced off the high ceiling and metallic walls. "How clever," said High Counselor Drev of the Taurian Empire. The 4-eyed bull-like alien leaned forward on thick arms. "The newest spacefaring race wants our protection, but offers nothing for defense." "Humans are weak," said the Krith ambassador, her snake-like scales shining under the bright lights. "Their planet knows nothing of real war." Bennett stood tall, though his aide Olivia Martinez saw his hands tighten into fists. She had warned him the aliens might react this way, but the mockery was worse than they expected. "Our history books are open for you to read," Bennett said calmly. "Earth has seen enough blood to fill an ocean. Simple tribal fights." Drev waved a massive hand. "Nothing like wars between star systems." Martinez watched the alien faces. None showed respect or understanding. Some smaller species looked afraid to disagree with the powerful Taurians or Phyrexians. The council voted without debate. Earth would be placed under protected observation status, a fancy way of saying humans were seen as children whom needed watching, not as equals. As Bennett and Martinez walked out, alien laughter followed them down the long hallway. Their footsteps echoed on the stone floor. "We should have shown them something of our military," Martinez whispered when they were alone in the elevator. "Just enough to earn respect." Bennett shook his head. "That would go against everything we claim to stand for." "They think we're lying anyway," Martinez pointed out. "Or worse, they think we're weak." "Let them think what they want," Bennett said. "Earth has fought enough wars to know there are many ways to win." Back in their small embassy office, Martinez poured 2 drinks from a bottle they had brought from Earth. "To peace," she said without much hope in her voice. "They'll understand someday," Bennett replied, taking the glass. "What if they don't? What if the Phyrexians or Taurians decide Earth looks like easy prey?" Bennett looked out the window at the strange purple sky of Galaxis Prime. 3 moons hung like watchful eyes above the alien city. "Then they'll learn why humans really fear war," he said quietly. "Not because we can't fight, but because we know exactly how good we are at it." Martinez nodded slowly. "I just hope we don't have to teach that lesson anytime soon." "So do I," Bennett said, finishing his drink. "But I think we both know they aren't going to give us much choice." As night fell on the alien world, Bennett sent a coded message back to Earth. Council response negative. Proceed with contingency plans. 6 months after the humiliating council meeting, a Phyrexian mining ship entered the solar system without permission. The large vessel, shaped like a jagged rock with glowing blue engines, ignored all warning signals as it headed straight for the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Captain Kate Wilson sat in the command chair of the EDF Indomitable, watching the alien ship on her screen. Her crew waited silently for orders. "They're ignoring our hails again, Captain," said Lieutenant Eric Foster, his fingers moving quickly over the communications panel. Wilson nodded. "Try one more time. Make it clear they are in Earth territory without permission." The Phyrexian ship was 3 times larger than the Indomitable. Its hull sparkled with weapons ports that made Wilson's stomach tighten. This wasn't a simple mining vessel. Finally, the screen flickered and showed a Phyrexian captain. The insect-like alien clicked its mandibles before speaking through a translator. "Your primitive ships do not concern us," the harsh electronic voice said. "These resources will be claimed by the Phyrexian Dominion." Wilson kept her face calm, though anger burned inside her. You are in violation of Sol's sovereignty. Please withdraw immediately, or we will be forced to escort you from the system. The Vrexian captain made a sound like broken glass being crushed. The translator didn't convert it, but Wilson guessed it was laughter. Then, without warning, the alien ship fired an energy beam that flashed just in front of the Indomitable's bow. Several crew members gasped. Wilson's hand tightened on her chair arm, but she didn't give the order to return fire. "Captain, they just took a shot at us," Foster said, his voice rising. "A warning shot," Wilson corrected him. "They missed on purpose." She opened a channel to Earth Command. Admiral Joseph Garcia's face appeared on screen, lines of worry around his eyes. "We saw everything, Captain," Garcia said. "Stand down. Do not engage the Vrexian vessel." "Sir," Wilson couldn't hide her surprise. "Those are your orders, Captain. We will handle this through diplomatic channels." Within days, 3 more Vrexian ships joined the first one. They set up mining operations in the asteroid belt, taking resources that belonged to Earth. The Galactic Council did nothing when Ambassador Bennett filed complaints. "Humans need to understand how the galaxy works," one council member told him with a shrug. At the Earth Embassy, Bennett and Martinez watched reports of the Vrexian ships stealing Earth resources. "They're testing us," Martinez said, pacing the small office, "seeing how much we'll take before we fight back." Bennett nodded slowly. "The Council thinks we won't do anything because we're afraid." "Aren't we?" Martinez asked. "We have ships nearby, but they just watch while aliens steal from us." "There's a difference between fear and strategy," Bennett replied. "The Vrexians want us to attack so they can claim we're the aggressors." Martinez stopped pacing. "So what do we do? Let them take whatever they want?" Bennett smiled for the first time in days. "No, we show them why smart enemies fear humans more than brave ones do." He activated a secure channel to Earth. President Eleanor Wright appeared on screen, her face serious. "Madam President, it's time for Phase 2, Bennett said. Wright nodded once. "Understood, Ambassador. The pieces are already moving into place." As Bennett ended the call, Martinez looked at him curiously. "What exactly is Phase 2? "The part where we teach the galaxy why humans really fear war," Bennett said. "Not because we can't win, but because we know exactly what winning costs." Deep under the Rocky Mountains, in a room carved from solid stone, the leaders of Earth met in secret. Maps and screens covered the walls. President Eleanor Wright stood at the head of a long table, her gray hair pulled back tightly. "The Council has failed us," she said. Her voice echoed in the quiet room. "They laugh while aliens steal from our system, but we will not start a war." Admiral Garcia touched a screen, and a 3D map of the solar system appeared above the table. Tiny red dots showed the 4 Vrexian ships mining Earth's asteroids. "The Vrexians think we are weak," Garcia said. "They believe our ships are simple and our weapons are old. They have not seen what we can really do." Director Samuel Patel, head of Earth Intelligence, stepped forward. He was a small man with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "We have studied the Vrexians for months," Patel said. "Their greatest weakness is simple. They need resources. Their homeworlds used up most of their metals and fuel long ago. Their empire is hungry and desperate." General Lisa Howard, a tall woman with dark skin and short hair, nodded. "So we don't fight their ships. We attack their economy instead." "Exactly," President Wright smiled. "Operation Economic Shield begins today." No one outside the room knew what humans could really do. For decades, Earth had shown the galaxy only a fraction of its true technology. Now they would use some of their hidden strengths. Instead of attacking the Vrexian ships, tiny human drones, too small to see with eyes, moved through space. These nanobots attached to every rock the Vrexians mined, marking each one with special tags that couldn't be detected by alien scanners. Meanwhile, Ambassador Bennett carefully selected council members who might listen. Not the powerful Taurians or Krith, but smaller species who also suffered from Vrexian bullying. The Vrexians are breaking trade laws, Bennett told them, showing proof that resources stolen from Earth were being sold across the galaxy. Today they steal from us. Tomorrow it could be your worlds. The evidence was clear. Several trading species immediately stopped buying from the Vrexians. On their homeworlds, Vrexian leaders were shocked as trade deals collapsed. Shop shelves emptied. Fuel prices doubled, then tripled. Their careful lies about where the resources came from had been exposed. How did the humans do this? The Vrexian High Commander demanded. They have no spies in our territory. No one had an answer. No one understood that humans had been planning for this moment since their first ships left Earth's atmosphere. 3 months after Operation Economic Shield began, the Vrexian economy was in serious trouble. Their mining ships in the solar system sent urgent messages home, asking for instructions. The humans have not fired a single shot, Martinez observed as she watched reports of Vrexian companies closing. Yet they're hurting the Vrexians more than a battle ever could. Bennett nodded. This isn't war as the galaxy understands it. This is chess. What happens when the Vrexians get desperate? Martinez asked. They still have warships. Then we move to Phase 3, Bennett replied calmly. In the secure mountain room, President Wright received reports of Vrexian warships preparing to jump to the solar system. They're coming, Admiral Garcia said. Good, Wright answered. Let them come. It's time to show them what humans can really do when pushed too far. Red alert warnings flashed throughout Earth's defense network. 7 Vrexian warships had entered the solar system, their engines burning hot as they pushed toward Earth. These weren't mining vessels. These ships bristled with weapons and carried soldiers ready for battle. Admiral Garcia stood in the control center of Earth Defense Command, watching the holographic display as the alien fleet approached. They'd bypassed our outer warning beacons, a young officer reported. No response to communications. Garcia nodded calmly. As expected. Deploy Defense Fleet Pattern Omega. Outside Earth's atmosphere, 30 human ships moved into position. To alien eyes, they looked simple and weak, small vessels with few visible weapons. The Vrexian commander probably laughed when he saw them. Captain Kate Wilson, still commanding the Indomitable, received her orders. Defensive positions only. Do not fire unless fired upon. The Vrexian flagship sent a message to all Earth vessels. Surrender your system or be destroyed. Your weak ships cannot stand against us. Wilson didn't respond. She simply moved her ship into its assigned position and waited. The first Vrexian shots came moments later. Bright purple energy beams aimed at the Indomitable and other human ships. But something strange happened. The beams seemed to bend away from their targets, missing by narrow margins. What is happening? The Vrexian commander shouted on his bridge. Why can't we hit them? His weapons officer frantically adjusted targeting systems. Their ships are giving off strange energy patterns. Our sensors can't lock properly. The Vrexians fired again. This time, some hits connected with human ships, but the expected explosions didn't happen. The energy weapons seemed to spread across the hulls of the Earth vessels, dispersing without causing damage. Still, not a single human ship fired back. Why aren't they fighting? A Vrexian officer asked. The answer came suddenly and without warning. Throughout the Vrexian fleet, ship systems began failing. Engine power dropped. Weapons went offline. Communications cut out. On the Vrexian flagship, emergency lights flicked on as main power failed. The commander stared in horror at dead control panels. What is happening? He demanded. His chief engineer looked up with fear in his compound eyes. Something has gotten into our systems. It's shutting everything down. Even life support is failing. Across the Vrexian fleet, the same crisis unfolded. Ships drifted powerless in space, life support systems barely functioning on emergency backups. Admiral Garcia opened a channel to the disabled Vrexian flagship. Your vessels have been neutralized without casualties. We will provide emergency life support and safe passage out of our system for all your crews. This conflict is over." The Vrexian commander had no choice but to accept. His mighty warships hung helpless in space, while small human vessels attached support modules to maintain air and heat for the alien crews. Not a single shot had been fired by human weapons. News of the battle, or lack of battle, spread quickly through the Galactic Council. Species that had laughed at humans now watched in stunned silence as Ambassador Bennett addressed the emergency session. "Humanity doesn't fear war because we are weak," he explained calmly. "We fear it because we know we are exceptionally good at it. For centuries, we fought each other on Earth. We became experts at finding enemy weaknesses." He looked around the silent chamber. The Vrexian ships were defeated by microscopic robots that entered their systems through exhaust ports. Technology we developed centuries ago, but never showed you. Bennett's voice became softer, but everyone heard him clearly. "Humanity chooses peace not from weakness, but from wisdom. Remember that before you mistake our patience for fear again." The council chamber remained completely silent long after Bennett finished speaking. The defeat of the Vrexian fleet should have ended the matter. Instead, it sparked something more dangerous. High Counselor Drev of the Taurian Empire watched the recording of the battle for the 12th time. His 4 eyes narrowed in anger. "Humans hid their true power from us," Drev said to his war council. "They are liars and tricksters." The Taurians were the strongest military power in the galaxy. Their warriors stood over 8 feet tall with thick armored skin. For centuries, no species had dared challenge them directly. The humans must be put in their place, Drev decided, before other species begin to follow their example. Within days, Taurian warships appeared near key trade routes that Earth ships needed to reach other star systems. The massive vessels, shaped like ancient battle axes, didn't attack directly. They simply scanned every human ship that passed, sometimes forcing them to wait days for security inspections. At the same time, the Taurians worked with their allies, the Krith Confederation, to block all human proposals in the Galactic Council. Ambassador Bennett and Olivia Martinez found life on Galaxis Prime growing more dangerous. Twice, Martinez spotted Krith assassins following them. Once, their food was poisoned, saved only by the hidden scanners in their wristbands. "The Taurians are pushing for war," Martinez said as they reviewed security reports in their embassy. "They can't stand that a newer species might be as powerful as they are." Bennett looked tired. Dark circles showed under his eyes from lack of sleep. "They want us to throw the first punch, to prove humans are the aggressive species they claim we are." "What's our next move?" Martinez asked. "We show them just enough to make them reconsider," Bennett replied. Back on Earth, President Wright met again with her Security Council. The underground room felt colder than before. "The Taurians won't be tricked like the Vrexians," Admiral Garcia warned. "Their technology is more advanced, their ships better shielded against our nanobots." "Then we show them something new," President Wright said. "Authorize Operation Glass Ceiling." For 50 years, humans had hidden their best technology from alien eyes. Now they revealed a small piece of what they could really do. Without warning, 5 advanced human ships appeared in Taurian space, not near the border, but deep in their territory, next to their most important military bases. The ships were unlike any the galaxy had seen before, sleek black vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The Taurian defense network hadn't detected their approach. One moment there was nothing. The next moment the human ships simply existed where they shouldn't possibly be. "Impossible," shouted the Taurian base commander on Krell Prime. "No ship can bypass our sensor grid." The human vessels sent no messages. They simply hung in space, a silent reminder that Earth could reach anywhere if needed. The Taurian response was immediate and massive. Hundreds of warships converged on the 5 human vessels, weapons charged and ready. "Surrender or be destroyed," the Taurian fleet commander demanded. The human ships didn't move or respond. When the Taurians fired, their weapons passed through the vessels as if they weren't there. Because they weren't. The ships were perfect holograms, projected from hidden devices that humans had planted in Taurian space months earlier. Panic spread through the Taurian military. If humans could project such perfect holograms undetected, what else might they be capable of? Where else might they be watching? High Counselor Drev stared out the window of his palace. For the first time in his long life, he felt something new. Fear. Far from the growing tension between humans and Taurians, another species watched with great interest. The Orisians were among the oldest beings in the galaxy. Tall and slender with pale blue skin and large silver eyes, they had mostly withdrawn from galactic politics thousands of years ago. Most younger species thought the Orisians were weak scholars who spent their time studying stars and ancient history. Few knew the truth about their power. Elder Nice, the head of the Orisian Council, studied the reports of human actions against both the Phyrexians and Taurians. Unlike other aliens, she wasn't surprised or angered by Earth's hidden strengths. They are exactly what we have been waiting for, she told her fellow elders. A species that can fight but chooses not to. A people who use their minds before their weapons. After much discussion, the Orisians made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. Ambassador Bennett was working late in his office when a soft blue light filled the room. He looked up, startled but not afraid, as an Orisian appeared before him. Not through the door. The alien had simply materialized in the center of the room. Ambassador Bennett, Elder Nice said in perfect English, "We need to talk." Martinez rushed in, hand on her hidden weapon, then stopped in surprise at the sight of the Orisian. "It's all right, Olivia," Bennett said calmly, though his heart raced. Everyone knew the Orisians rarely spoke to other species. Elder Nice is a guest. "We have watched your people since you first reached the stars," Nice said, her voice like gentle music. "You are unique among the younger races." "How so?" Bennett asked. "You have the power to destroy, yet you seek every alternative first. You have advanced technology, yet you hide it rather than use it to dominate others." Bennett smiled slightly. "We learned our lessons the hard way, Elder. Earth's history is full of wars that could have been avoided." Nice nodded. "That is why we wish to form an alliance with humanity." Martinez gasped. The Orisians had not allied with any species in recorded history. "We offer partnership, not protection," Nice continued. "Together, we can create a new balance in the galaxy, one based on cooperation rather than fear." "The Taurians won't like that," Bennett said. "The Taurians and others have forgotten that true strength comes from wisdom, not weapons," Nice replied. It is time they were reminded. 3 days later, the galaxy was shocked when Earth and the Orisian Collective announced their alliance. More shocking still was the revelation that Orisian technology far exceeded even what the most advanced Council species possessed. The Orisians demonstrated this by activating a network of ancient devices throughout the galaxy. Suddenly, all faster-than-light travel was monitored by systems no one could hide from or disable. "Peace will be enforced if necessary," Elder Nice announced to the Galactic Council, "but we prefer it be embraced willingly." Smaller species, long bullied by powers like the Taurians and Phyrexians, saw an opportunity. Within weeks, a dozen worlds asked to join what was being called the Concordance, a new organization founded on principles of mutual respect. The balance of power had shifted dramatically without a single large-scale battle. "Was this your plan all along?" Martinez asked Bennett as they watched new member species sign the Concordance Charter. Bennett shook his head. "We hoped for allies, but the Orisians were beyond our dreams." "Why did they choose us?" Martinez wondered. "Because humans know something most species never learn," Bennett replied. "True power isn't about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself." 1 year after the formation of the Concordance, the Galactic Council chamber looked completely different. Nearly half the seats now belonged to Concordance members. The once mighty Taurian Empire and Phyrexian Dominion had lost much of their power. Their military spending had nearly broken their economies, while trade with Concordance worlds made other species rich. Ambassador Paul Bennett stood once again before the full council. The room was silent, but not like before. This time, there was no mockery waiting to burst forth, only respect and careful attention. 1 year ago, many of you laughed when I said humans feared war, Bennett began, his voice carrying easily through the chamber. You thought fear meant weakness. You were wrong. He walked slowly across the speaking platform, making eye contact with delegates from dozens of worlds. Humanity's history is soaked in blood. For thousands of years, we fought each other over land, resources, ideas, and religions. We became experts at killing and destroying. We built weapons that could wipe out entire cities in seconds. Bennett paused, letting his words sink in. Then we realized that being good at war wasn't something to be proud of. It was a tragedy, a failure of imagination. We learned to fear our own abilities, not because we were weak, but because we understood the true cost of using them. High Counselor Drev, his once proud posture now slightly stooped, spoke up. Your species deceived the Council about your military capabilities. No, Bennett said firmly. We told you exactly who we were. We said we feared war because of our bloody history. You simply didn't listen. Martinez watched from the side of the chamber, pride filling her chest. In 1 year, humans had gone from being laughed at to helping reshape galactic politics. The Council voted on a series of new agreements that day. New rules for resolving disputes without violence. New protections for younger species. New limits on how resources could be claimed. As Bennett and Martinez left the chamber, a young Vrexian diplomat approached them. Unlike the aggressive posturing of his kind a year ago, this Vrexian moved cautiously, respectfully. Ambassador Bennett, the Vrexian said, his translator making his clicks sound almost gentle. My government has sent me to discuss the possibility of joining the Concordance. Bennett showed no surprise, though this was a major development. The Concordance welcomes all who truly commit to its principles. It will not be easy for my people, the Vrexian admitted. We have always valued strength above all else. Sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to use force, Bennett replied. After the Vrexian left, Martinez smiled at Bennett. From enemies to potential allies in 1 year. I never thought I'd see it. Humans are good teachers, Bennett said as they walked toward their embassy. But sometimes the lesson has to be demonstrated rather than explained. In the embassy garden that evening, Bennett sat with Elder Nice beneath an artificial sky designed to look like Earth's night. 3 moons shone above them, a constant reminder they were far from home. You have changed the galaxy, Ambassador, Nice said softly. Bennett shook his head. We simply showed them another way. Many species have technology. Some have wisdom. Rare is the species that has both, Nice observed. We still have much to learn, Bennett admitted. As do we all, Nice replied, her ancient eyes reflecting the starlight. But together, perhaps we will have time to learn it. As Bennett looked up at the strange stars above Galaxies Prime, he thought about humanity's journey. They had arrived claiming to fear war, been laughed at for their apparent weakness, and ended up reshaping galactic civilization without firing a single shot in anger. The galaxy had stopped laughing and finally started listening.